Hi, in this video, we'll take a look at Axway Amplify Fusion's application LLM quota. So this will tie in a bunch of prior topics that we've covered. Lastly was the setting of the LLM connector cost and billing. So that's how much it costs per million tokens in or out, let's say. So we'll use that. And we'll also revisit building an API and creating an application and using the API key authentication for the API in order to demo application LLM quotas. So recall the project, we have a Grok connector. It's basically using the OpenAI connector pointing to Grok. And then we did add the billing for this Llama 3.1 AP instant model of 5 cents per million tokens in and 8 cents per million tokens out. We got that from the Grok website. And we had a simple scheduler integration for testing. But for application LLM quota governance, we're going to need to have an API or an MCP server with security. So I already created a very simple chat API. It's a GET. I created in ChatGPT. It's pretty simple. So let's create that. Let's call it Grok chat, and it's over here on desktop. We'll do a next. And here's the API, pretty simple. It has a query parameter of text. That's the message the user's going to send. And then you get a response in a simple JSON object with a response property. And let's call this Grok chat. Save it at that path. And let's just build a very simple integration here. Link to that method. Get chat. And what we'll do in here, and remember, take a look at the Hello API series if you're not familiar with building APIs in Fusion. But I will call the OpenAI chat. And I will select my Grok OpenAI connector, and the prompt, for all the requests, we'll pretend like the LLM is a friendly and helpful AI agent. And the message is going to be a user message. And the message is going to come from the query parameter. All right. Now, for the response, we'll just set the status to 200. We'll just do the happy path development here. And let's look at the 200 response. And for the body, it has a property of response. Let's just grab the message and drag it in there. And for the headers, let's set this content type. Application JSON. Let's activate this and grab the URL. And let's come here and post name. And remember, it's a chat. And it has a query parameter text equals hello. If I call that hello, so I got a good response, so that's great. Now we've got an API. The next thing we need to do is we need to add front-end security, and let's use API key to keep it simple. And we'll put it in the header, and let's use the default text let's create that. Let's save. And let me activate that. And this should fail because I don't have an API key, so I'm unauthorized. The next thing we need to do, if you recall, is come into the manager, create an application. Let's call it Grok Chat. All right. Let's add the API, I think we called it Grok Chat, and shape data plane, and we also covered application quota usage control. I don't have any quotas on the API itself, but in this video, we're talking about LLM quotas. So if I come here, I can do consumption add quotas, and let's add a quota. So we've got, let's do all in this application and for Fusion data plane. And I can't do the cost because the cost is really small. It's fractions of a penny per call. So let's just do tokens to make it simple. And let's set a quota of 500 input tokens and 600 output tokens per minute. We also need an API key. And let's update. And now let's come back to our API. Let's add the API key. Let's put the value in here, and this should work. All right. And let's put in a better message. Explain quantum physics in 10 lines or less. All right, so that worked. And if we do it again, I'm hoping this will be a larger token on the response and eventually hit my too many requests. And now what we can do is we can come back here to usage controls, and we can actually view the consumption and see the number of tokens that were used, the cost, our output tokens, input tokens, and the cost. Again, over custom range, last 30, last 7, bar chart, or line chart. So in this video, we saw how to set application level LLM quotas for our LLM connectors. Thank you.